Hey, my name's Paige Mills. I am a powerlifter and strongman who has competed all over Australia, where I'm from, and now internationally. I'm here at SuperTraining gym and we're going to talk about the log press. The start hand position of the log press, it's important that your hands are not on top of the log. They're scooped around the sides of the log. This is going to put them in the correct position when you're in the clean position up here. Your foot stance is pretty much where you would deadlift from, just about shoulder width apart, okay? Hands underneath, arms long and locked out like you would in a deadlift. We don't want to row it up first. The start is just a deadlift, keeping it close to your body. And then we dip down so that the log is in our lap, elbows come out, and we get it as high on our chest as we can. When you're doing a kettlebell swing and you use your hips to bring the weight up, that's what we're doing in the log press. I like to tilt the log away from myself a little bit, deadlift up, lap it, keep it high on your chest, and keep your elbows high. When you're in this front rack position, as soon as your elbows drop, it's very hard to recover from there. You need to bring your head out of the way to accommodate high elbows. And then up from here without dipping our elbows. In strongman, you can push press, which is where you use your legs to assist, or you can split jerk like in an Olympic lift. Both are allowed. So first I tilt the log away from me a little, and then I curl my hands underneath. Elbows locked out, long arms, deadlift up, squatting down, big breath, and drive your hips through. And then from here, we press overhead. Holding the lockout, and that's it. So when you're in this position, your wrists are cocked backwards to help your elbows stay up. And then from here, we want to think about pushing backwards, because if we push up, it's going to come away from our center of gravity. So we want to push back over your head, okay? As soon as that comes away from your midline in the press, it's really hard to get back there. So you want to keep it straight up and down. This means leaning back like this. The hardest part for me is once I'm in this lap position and I go to clean it up, the log wants to slip down like this as I'm going up. So the secret is to keep it as close to your body as possible, row it in with your arms, and keep it as high on your chest as possible. I'm using my hips to push it up. You want momentum in this position. It's very hard to slowly complete that clean. So I talk a lot about keeping the log as close to my center of gravity as possible. The reason this is so hard to keep there is because it's supposed to be. So a barbell would be much easier. You can keep a barbell up here quite comfortably. A log, your head's kind of in the way, right? So that's the point of strongman. Everything is awkward, everything is difficult. So keeping it close is what's going to keep that efficiency of the lift. If your gym does not have a log and you want to build up your log strength, any overhead press is going to build your log strength. But if you have a bar that has a neutral grip option like this one, then it more closely imitates the log press, okay? And also this is a little bit wider than a normal barbell, so I have to get my head out of the way like in the log. When I'm doing a heavy log press, I like to do it shirtless because this log is incredibly slippery and your skin just grips the log better, which means you can get it up there and keep it up there higher. I also will often chalk my chest to keep that front rack grip. But in terms of equipment, I like to put my belt on backwards, just so that this buckle isn't in the way of the log. A lot of strongman implements, it's actually against the rules to rest the implement on your belt, and this just keeps that risk low. In terms of accessory exercises, don't underestimate the power that your bench has in carrying over to your overhead press. Definitely for me, in strongman, I'm probably best at overhead because I've got a great bench. I think people get a bit lazy with the deadlift part because it is an overhead exercise, but it's important that when you're doing the deadlift part to this position, that you're keeping your shoulder blades depressed like you would in a deadlift and switching your lats on, not just kind of like curling it up with your back like this. And I also like to really keep my knees out like I would in a deadlift. The log is a badass accessory for your powerlifting training. I use strongman movements in my off season from powerlifting because a barbell can get kind of boring and this looks badass.